Welcome back to Arsenal News TV, and today we're going to do the Arsenal player ratings versus Brighton, and we're going to look at how the Gunners players got on individually in their Premier League clash against Brighton at the Emirates Stadium. So we're going to go straight into it, and the first person on the list is Bernd Leno, and he was relatively untested during the game but pulled off some smart saves when called upon. A second half stop from Jacob Mulder was the pick of the bunch. And in terms of Bernd Leno, with Brighton struggling in front of goal for most of this Premier League campaign, he had an easy chance in goal, but for his performance today, he deserves a 6. Next up, we got Callum Chambers. Arsenal look much more dangerous with the right back who can offer a good threat in the final third. Callum Chambers' quick ball was key for Nicolas Pepe's opener, and his delivery was consistent throughout. And for me, Callum Chambers is a player on whether we should keep or sell this summer transfer window, because when it comes to Callum Chambers, he's someone that's in his final year of his contract. What is Mikel going to do? We don't know, but for his performance today, I think it's fair to say he deserves a 7. Next up, we got Rob Holding. He was so unlucky not to have put Arsenal in front early on in the game, and he did a good job making sure Brighton couldn't offer too much threats. The Seagulls tried 3 different forward systems against him, none of them worked. And in terms of Rob Holding, this is one of these performances where he looks quite decent, and with Brighton struggling in front of goal this whole Premier League campaign, for his performance today, he deserves a 7. Next up, we got Gabriel Jesus. A good display from the Brazilian, who also could have put his team in front. He was defensively solid and a threat in the box. This is what Arsenal will want from their centre-back on a consistent basis next season. And for me, if there was one position I think we have very good players in that position, it is that left centre-back position in my opinion, with Gabriel Magalhaes and Pablo Mori. I think we have 2 centre-backs that actually fight for this football club. They can do the work, they can score goals, and I really do like the pair of them. But for Gabriel Magalhaes, he deserves a 7 for his performance. Next up, we got Kieran Tierney. A relatively quiet afternoon for the Scottish left-back who wasn't at his best offensively. Still a solid enough display though. But in terms of Kieran Tierney, for me, he is someone that has saved our season in a way, in my opinion. If the way he hasn't played for the Gunners, the way he scores those important goals, the one that's running through my mind right now, running through my eyes, is the goal against Benfica. Even though we're not in the Europa League final, he has been very crucial for this club, and we have to wait and see if he remains at the club. But for his performance today, he deserves a 6. Next up, we got Thomas Partey. He looked buoyed by the presence of his fans inside the stadium, and he did everything he could score. One effort curled just wide while the other smacked the bar, as he couldn't put quite the cherry on top of a good display. I don't know, and I think when it comes to Thomas Partey, he's someone that looked quite decent with a decent central midfielder alongside him in the form of Granit Xhaka. And Thomas Partey might have in his back of his mind the fact that Atletico Madrid won the league and he is sitting in 8th position with Arsenal at the end of the season. But hopefully we have a huge change next season. But for his performance today, he deserves a 7. Next up, we got Granit Xhaka. A brilliant display from the Swiss international that reminded us exactly how good he can be when played in his proper position. His interception and quick ball to Martin Odegaard in the build-up to the second was the highlights of a superb performance. But in terms of Granit Xhaka, he is a mismatched player in my opinion. We don't know if his future still lies with the Arsenal Football Club. He said with those reports that he wants to leave the football club. We have to wait and see how Granit Xhaka futures upons, and for his performance today, he deserves an 8. Next up, we got Nicolas Pepe. Another 2 goals from the Ivorian, who has established himself not just as someone who can deliver on his potential in the future, but someone who is doing it right now. And we're starting to see glimpses of why Arsenal paid £72 million for this winger. It takes time for some players. Henry took some time to become the player he was, a legend he is at this football club. Nicolas Pepe might not be Henry's level, but I'm telling you, he got a goal in him. He can get a goal every single game in my opinion. But in terms of Nicolas Pepe, he's someone that needs to build on this form and get to that next level. But for his performance today, he deserves a 9. Next up, we got Martin Odegaard. Looked charged up from the off and was clearly keen to get a goal on his debut in front of the fans. The fact he started today and recorded another assist could be a hint at where his future lies. And in terms of Martinelli, I think we have extraordinary talent. Someone that was signed by Real Madrid at 17. Well, remember, when he was 17, he's got the talents. Or 16, I mean. He's someone that's got the talents. And we are lucky to have a player like him in our hands. He's technically gifted. He will play for this football club, hopefully. And he's someone that puts 110% in every single performance. But for his performance today, I think it's fair to say he deserves an 8 for his performance. Next up, we got Emile Rowe. Some moments where he showed his ability to burst past opposition defenders, but he didn't quite influence the game as much as he shown he can. But in terms of Smith Rowe, he's just very graceful on the ball. He's someone is easy to watch on the eye, and he's got a big future at the football club. A new contract is on the talks, and for his performance today, he deserves a 6. Next up, we got PierreEmerick Aubameyang. Another relatively anonymous display from the Gabon forward who looks very keen to score throughout. He needs to put his season behind him and return stronger next campaign. And we all know that Aubameyang's had a poor season. We have to move on, but for his performance today, he deserves a 6. Next up, we got Bukayo Saka, and given the raucous reception he deserved after coming on for Emile Rowe in the second half and showed some good moments. And in terms of Bukayo Saka, hopefully he was rested for the opportunity to maybe play in England in the Euro 2020. And in terms of Bukayo Saka, this guy has been a revolution at the football club. Let's be honest here, he signed a new long-term contract with the club, he's put his future at the club, and we have a top player in our hands. Now it's time to get those goals and assists, but for his performance today, he deserves a 6. Next up, we got Alexandre Lacazette, and the fact he didn't start may have been a sign about his future, but he did fine after coming on for Aubameyang. There was one moment for me where he just pretty much showed his strength against Eva Bissouma, and Eva Bissouma was running rampant around these players in my opinion. And Lacazette's future might not be with the club in terms of my opinion, but we have to wait and see. But for his performance today, he deserves a 6. And finally, we got Gabriel Martinelli, and he came on too late to influence the game, so he doesn't receive a rating from me. But other than that, guys, remain blessed. Stay tuned for the next video, and peace.